All right, so we're gonna have Sister Rena. She's gonna be opening us up with a prayer in Hebrew, and also we're gonna go into the English as well to give more brothers and sisters an understanding of what's actually being said. As well, we have a chat room here, so brothers and sisters, start to communicate more with each other. You know what I'm saying, within the chat, as well, so we can be more active um, amongst brothers and sisters while we are here in these classes. But today's topic, is basically on behalf of the wickedness of the so-called royal family. All right, we got brother Daniel. From he's trying to join from Nigeria. His connection is not too well within Nigeria as of right now. But we're ready when you are, beloved Sister Rena.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm going to say the Hebrew Palau, the Father's Palau. Abanu, Shaba, Shabbat Shamayim, Ikadash Shamka, U Barach Makuka, Rashunka Yaha Yashuyi, Ba Shamaynu, U Baharat, U Adai Lak Manu, Chamadik, Cha'ashar, A Nachnu, Mukayim, U Al Tabi, Anu Lachadai, Nasa Hayu Sham Ranu Malkara Amana. In English, this translates to Our Father in heaven. May your name be set apart. May your kingdom be blessed. Your will be done in heaven and on the earth, and give us our bread continually, and forgive us of our sins, and do not bring us into the hands of a test, and protect us from all evil. Amana.
Amani. Thank you, my beloved Sister Rena. All right, so
Alo Dabar.
for brothers and sisters who are new here, my name is Brother Nasi Nazir X. I'm the national president of the Line of Judah Armed Forces. The mission statement is basically liberating our beloved brothers and sisters all over the four corners of the earth, where we have been scattered throughout the slave trade. Everything have been stripped away from us when it comes down to our language. As you see, we are turning back to that. As you see, our beloved sister Rena was just speaking in the ancient Hebrew language, but we have been stripped away from our language, our heritage, our culture, our traditions, and everything else by the dang on so-called white man, who we call the dang on devil. Now, I'm not saying that all white people are bad people, but I'm just saying, just according to the history and their ancestors, and those who do not partake in righteousness, we call them the dang on devil. And that's just what it is. There is no one who have as much blood on their hands as a dang on white man. There is no one who have went around the world and colonized us as a nation of people, our lands, our countries, our resources, or anything, except for the so-called dang on white man, the dang on devil. And that's the reason why these people remain in power as today, as you see. So as we as brothers and sisters and as a line of Judah Armed Forces, unity is key. Unity is key. There are four people we have amongst the organization and four people we have amongst us as a nation of people, or just in people in general. There's four kinds of people, four types of people, and I'm gonna go over them. The four types of people are the players, okay? On this world stage that we reside on, what we call life, one of the type of people that we reside amongst today, and that's amongst us and have always been amongst us throughout generations and generations and centuries of time. You had your players. Your players are the ones who go out, they get it, they make things happen. They're not making no excuses or nothing. They are out here playing the life. They're playing in the game. They're playing in the field to make things happen, to try to liberate their people, okay? You have your players. Next, you have your watchers. Your watchers are the ones who see what's going on within the organization. They're watching the players, okay? The players who are reaching their success, the players who are obtaining their goals. You have your watchers who are hitting in the back or hitting at home, who don't want to put in work, but they are watching the every single move that the player makes. Okay, they're taking notes. Not only just taking notes, the watchers, what they have done is that within life, they have faced trials and tribulations. They had goals, they have dreams, they had visions, but the watchers wasn't able to be successful at that moment of time when they failed or faced a trial and tribulation, and then they eventually ended up giving up. So when the watchers ended up giving up, right, because they ended up being knocked down from the trials and tribulations they faced, the watchers eventually gave up. And when they gave up, that's when they started hiding in the back. They started hiding in the dark. They started playing it low. And then they just started watching the players. Okay. This is also, the watchers are also everywhere on social media. I'm going to give you an explanation on that. The watchers on social media are the individuals who watch your every move. They watch your videos. They watch the posts you make. They watch the status you make. They watch the work that you put in the community, but they don't like nothing you do. Some of them may like what you do, but while they are liking what you do, they are not actually putting in the work in the field or in their community or within their state or their city, and etc. And like I say, you have them amongst the organization, and you have them amongst people just amongst the world in general. Okay, these are your watchers, people who watch everything. They don't do nothing. They're not putting any effort into their own lives. They're not putting any effort into anything whatsoever to help the cause or nothing. The only thing they do is watch. Okay, those are your watchers. Next, you have your wonders. Your wonders, what they do is they understand and know what's going on in the world when it comes to the players who are liberating their people, who is fighting to liberate their people, fighting to unite their people, fighting to educate their people. But the wanderers, what they're doing is they hear what's going on, but they're so caught up in being intoxicated, being drunk, being high, being off of the drugs, just gone into the wind, blown into the wind. They hear what's going on, but it's not that important to them. What's important to them is just living life and wandering in the wind. That's it. Now, again, you even have your wonders. These people are amongst the earth as well. And these people are within the organizations as well. Not just this, well, I say organizations, because you have people who join, but at the same time, the people that join, they're not actually putting in the work. Some people join just to be a part of something. Some people join just to watch. Some people join just to wander in the wind. Then you got your wanderers as well. You got wonders, W-A-N-D-E-R, and your wanderers, W-O-N-D-E-R as well. So you got your players, your watchers, your wonders, and your wonders, okay? These are the different type of people that we come across and cross paths within our everyday lives. So it's very important that we, as brothers and sisters, ask ourselves, who are we? Who are we? Or who am I? Am I the player who's making things happen? Am I the watcher who's just sitting back and observing and just watching everything and not making anything happen? Or am I the wanderer who's just living life day by day? I'm getting high every day, getting drunk every day. I see what's going on, but I choose not to do anything. Who am I? Who am I? And the reason why I bring that up is because we as the Line of Judah Armed Forces, you got to understand, when brothers and sisters, you join the Line of Judah Armed Forces, if you are a general, a local president in your division, it is very important that you get out and put in some work. Hold on, let me mute somebody. Mute your mic. Is that Rooster? That's Rooster. All right. So it's very important that you get out and you put work in within your community, because there's people within your community. There's people within your community who is suffering and who actually need the help. They need the help in hand. You know, nobody is saying anything. Nobody is doing nothing at all whatsoever. But you have these people amongst the organization who join and et cetera, et cetera. So basically what I'm saying is that, brothers and sisters, if you have a division, if you are a general, if you have anything, don't be a watcher, don't be a wanderer. Be the player that's out here in the community, that's standing up against the wickedness, the atrocities, that's liberating Black people, okay? We don't have no time. Time is running out. For example, here in Minnesota, in St. Paul yesterday, 2 young pregnant women were shot, okay? There is a gang war going on the turf. Gang wars at war against each other over the lows, over the highs, or whatever block, whatever territory. Failing to realize none of these territories, none of these blocks, and none of these things belong to your ass, man. It don't belong to you. But our people out here warring over territory. They're at war against each other, self-hate every single day. But when you look at it, our people don't say nothing about it. The mothers don't say nothing about it. The fathers don't say nothing about it. The community don't say nothing about it. They continue to let this thing happen within their community while innocent lives are at stake, while innocent people are being shot, innocent bystanders is being shot, women are being shot, pregnant women is being shot. And these brothers don't give a damn about none of these sisters or children or nothing. When they ride by and pull the trigger, knowing that they don't have no aim or nothing, committing these wicked atrocities and self-hate every single day. This is sickening, man. And this is why the Line of Judah Armed Forces have to rise up and be strong wherever we are to be a voice for the people and be a voice for the community. We have to. Because if we don't, and if we don't be a voice, it's going to continue to happen. It's going to happen either way. But it will make a difference and it will make a change if you start to speak up against the crimes and the atrocities that's going on, while also educating the brothers and being a leader and a mentor in the community towards the youth. This is key. So brothers, please step up. If you know, make sure you recruiting. Recruiting is everything. You got 7 days out of the week. Out of that 7 days, you can recruit 2-3 times out of the week. Put your flyer up on social media, not just social media, print flyers up in your community. Okay? Print up some flyers, get out in your community in uniform. If you have your uniform, get out in the community in your uniform and pass out those flyers in your community to brothers and sisters in your community and let them know we, the Line of Judah Armed Forces, your Black Army, the vanguards of your community, we are recruiting right now, and we need some strong brothers and some strong sisters to join and get on board so we can make a change and address the issues within our community. And that goes along with the sisterhood as well. Sisters are part of the sisterhood, the Daughters of Zion. Print up some flyers and get out in your community with your uniform on and pass out some flyers and start speaking to these sisters. Give them the mission statement. Focus and study your mission statement so you know what to say to the sisters and know what to say to the people in the community when they come to you with questions. That is key. That's very important. So make sure when you get out there, that is key, that you are recruiting, man. Recruit every single time whenever you can. I know you got your personal life, but remember, recruiting is key to bring more brothers and sisters on board to what's actually taking place, to fight and stand up against the atrocities, the evil doing, the wickedness in our community. The Messiah says, go not into the way of the Gentiles, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The reason why I say that is because while you are out here recruiting and your name start getting to start buzzing, people start realizing and noticing who the Line of Judah Armed Forces is in your community, in your state, your city. You got to be prepared for the Gentiles, because the Gentiles are going to come from the outside in. They're going to start questioning you. They're going to start sending you inboxes and messages and asking you, brother or sister, what do I need to do to be a part of your organization? Or do you allow white people to join your organization, and etc. Okay? We do not allow white people to join our organization. Our focus right now is the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. Our focus right now is building up we as a nation of people. That is the focus right now. We know according to Torah what it says when it comes to treating the strangers or the outsiders or these people on the other side. We know what it says, that when we basically are in rulership, or we basically have ourselves together, our lives together, and we finally able to show unity, morals, and etc. amongst us as a nation of people, then we can focus on possibly feeding and helping, etc., etc., etc. But either way, when we do food giveaways, when we do clothing drives, etc., we give to everyone. But all I'm saying, we do not allow people to come into the ranks or even come into the fold of the line of Judah Armed Forces. We do not allow white people in. And there's a reason why, because right now our focus is on us. But you're going to have black people who look just like you in your community who's going to come up to you. And even they themselves are going to say, well, I don't think what you're doing is of the Most High. And these are Christians. These are black sellout, Uncle Tom, house Negro, boot licking, Becky loving, Tom loving Negroes and women. They're going to come up to you and what you're doing, I don't think it's right. I think you need to involve everyone, brother. These are your sellouts. These are the ones who's getting a paycheck through the government. And if they ain't getting a paycheck through the government, these are the ones that also is having a majority funding by white people. And these white people, since they're funding them, now these white people have the mentality or the thoughts that since I'm funding you, I can tell you how to move and how to mobilize and etc. All right. So be on the lookout for them type of individuals as well. All right. A lot of times it's our own people to infiltrate. A lot of times the FBI, the COINTELPRO will have our people or send our people into the fold to infiltrate you as brothers and sisters, to break up the unity that you are building within your community. So you got to be on the lookout for them people, man. I'm telling you, them Uncle Tom, house loving, house Negro, Sambo Coon, boot licking Negroes and women. You got to watch out for them because they out here. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with being pro-black, meaning loving your people, supporting your people, uniting your people, because there ain't nobody more divided on the earth as like us right now. All right. So that's key. So I just want to go over that with brothers, man, and let y'all know, get out here, do the work, do the work, do the work, recruit, put boots on the ground, quit making excuses, find some time to get out in your community, man. There's no excuses. Quit being a watcher, quit being a wonder, be the player, man, and get out here and make things happen and play, be a part of the game, all right? Be a part of the world. Not of the world like that, but, you know, get out here and put the work like the Messiah told us to do. All right, so now we're going to go into the wickedness of the royal family, man. Oh my goodness. You know what's sickening is, you know, when Queen Elizabeth II passed away the other day, there was a lot of brothers. And when I say brothers, I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about brothers and sisters. There was a lot of brothers, there was a lot of sisters who was talking about rest in peace, and they showing a whole lot of sympathy and all this other stuff and etc. for this wicked witch. And, you know, one thing about me is this, and what people need to understand is, you know, this wicked witch, she wasn't talking about rest in peace when she was colonizing Africa. This wicked witch and them, they wasn't apologizing and feeling some type of way or showing some type of sympathy when there was rape, robbing, murdering, and stealing from your people, okay? And you got to understand, y'all got to remove this damn weak Christianity mindset. Y'all run around here, let these people rape, rob, murder you, our people, beat on our people, mistreat our people day in and day out. And then you turn around and you talk this forgiveness BS. Okay? This is something that these people are not doing. This is why when you look at their history, when you look at the holidays here in America on the calendar, this is the reason why these people, they continue to celebrate their wicked ancestors. They celebrate their wicked ancestors day in and day out. They don't care about the atrocities that happen, the wickedness that they have committed, the murders they have done, how they raped, robbed, and mistreated Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal people. They don't care. The celebration, their birthdays is on the calendars. Christopher Columbus is one of them. Christopher Columbus Day. That man then raped, robbed, and murdered the Native American Indians and murdered over 100 million of them and stole the land and so much more. And this over here in America, you see that the Native American Indians, they was here as well when he came over here. But Christopher Columbus is being celebrated every single day. He's being praised every single year on a holiday. If they ain't gonna forget about the atrocities, or if they ain't gonna, remove the holidays from the calendar, then why should you? Why should you forgive them for the atrocities that they have committed? Why? We gotta remove that, man. We gotta remove that, because I ain't forgiving a dang on thing. I know exactly what's going on. I don't trust you white folks. I'm gonna keep you at a distance. I'm telling you, yeah, not all white people are bad people, but look, I still don't trust you. And that's just what it is. Y'all gotta remember, man, and what's going on, boy. They a lot of tricks up they dang on sleeves. So pay attention to what's going on. But a lot of our people, man, they out here crying and boo-hoo, especially a lot of our people from the continent of Africa. From the continent of Africa. A lot of our people over there are they're really showing all type of love and support for some Queen Elizabeth. And it clearly shows you that even the book of Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Boy, I tell you, because my people over there, they are destroyed for a lack of knowledge so heavy, boy, they sitting up here having sympathy for these horrible people. And it's so bad over there, they ain't even realizing that the leaders, remember, the slave trade was only able to happen if the leaders approved of it. So now you see where all the Indigenous Aboriginal people are. They're all over the earth. And our own people, and it's the truth, our own people who were leaders sold us into slavery to these damn the British, to the Greeks, the Romans. These people, they sold us into slavery to these people for money, materialistic gain, political things, man, because slavery was a major business. And they sold us out to these damn people. And now here we are. We have become the tail. Wherever we have went on them ships into slavery, we have become the tail, as the book of Deborah or Deuteronomy says, that we will no longer be the head, we will become the tail. And this is exactly, you see, wherever you see the so-called Aboriginal man and woman throughout the four corners of the earth, we have become the tail. And even though Africa have the resources, have the riches, even Africa themselves is suffering from the European colonial powers. Even Africa is suffering right now. You got all the resources, the gold, the oil, the diamonds, and so much more that you have. But you continue to remain under the power of these European people and the European powers. And there's a reason behind that, okay? And now when you look at Africa, they're making their way in. They're buying up land. They're buying up land. They're working their way in. The apartheid in South Africa. Look at Nigeria, can't get it together. Nigeria continuing to sell their own dang on people out. Their own people suffering and starving. Their own people, the system is all jacked up. People barely can find jobs because you got the rulers and people that's in power who look like them selling their own people out. Yeah, so pay attention. This is a, the biggest mafia, the biggest gang is the governmental powers. These people that's in rulership. This is the biggest mafia, the biggest gang. Okay? And you got people that's playing a part of this game. You got people who look like us, who's selling us out, and you got these dang on European devils. So now, I'm gonna share my screen as we go into this. And I got some videos as well. But we're gonna go into some of this right here. This is keeping it. I'm gonna zoom it up because I want a few of y'all to read this. I want y'all to be involved. Okay? Because when you read it, that's when I know you're involved, because this means a lot. And remember, our mission is to build leaders and teachers and intellectuals whose focus on liberating Black people. All right, so keeping it in the family. Is this the real reason the royals hate Meghan? If you aren't a cousin, then you aren't part of the family. See this? So I'm reading this I'm bringing this up for a reason. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this family practices incest. All right. And there's even scriptures as well that I'm gonna be pulling up as well that speaks about incest. These wicked, demonic, satanic damn devils, they practice incest day in, day out. They sleeping with their family members, their cousins, and they talking about keeping it within the family and the bloodline. These are some nasty, sick, deranged ass people. Excuse my language. I'm just tired of it. And these people run around the earth and they get all of this praise as if they are righteous and royal. There's nothing royal about these sick Neanderthals. And that's why I call them Neanderthals and cave dwellers, because that's exactly what they do. And they operate in that's the nature of them. The nature of them is lawlessness and pure evil. These nasty, sick, deranged people. And what makes them so sick is how they brought their organized religion and forced their organized religion on us as Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal people, and tried to show us how to be sick and deranged by teaching us how to partake after incest as well, by having us sleep with our own family members, by having two men practice homosexuality practices, butt breaking and all this other stuff. These nasty, sick, deranged bastards came amongst our people with this madness and then try to teach it to us. All right. So who's willing to read? Who can? Brother Ozzy, can you please read? And then I'm gonna have Sister Katrina. I would like for you to read this. Can you see it? Let me know if it's large enough.
Yes, I can see it, brother. I can see it, brother. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. There has been a lot of press coverage recently after Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were interviewed by Oprah and spoke about their troubles with the royal family. Media everywhere has seized upon the similarities between Princess Diana and Meghan. Diana was also ostracized from the British royal family, and some conspiracy theories think the royal family played a part in her death. Could the differences between the British royals and Diana and Meghan be because they are not part of the family? That is, they weren't related by blood to the royals before their marriage. There is a history of intermarriage and interbreeding within the royal family and reluctance for outsiders to be admitted. Edward VIII, uncle of current Queen Elizabeth, was forced to abdicate the throne after less than a year, when he caused a constitutional crisis by proposing to American Wallis Simpson. The reason for this crisis: she was twice divorced and her ex-husband were both alive, something that was politically and socially unacceptable as a prospective queen consort. So why are the royal family so guarded against outsiders? Incest, the family tradition.
All right, right there, Brother Ozzy. So Sister Katrina, a National Minister of Youth, can you please read this next session about the incest, the family tradition, please?
Brother Nasi, I am currently driving and on the interstate, and it's pouring down raining, so it's a little difficult for me right now.
Okay.
Because I don't have a hand to to see the screen.
Okay, drive safe, sister. Drive safe. Is there anybody
Other
that?
time I will. Sorry.
No problem. Let me see. Sister Michelle. Sister Michelle, are you there?
Yes.
All right. Do you
Could
mind
tell me,
reading?
where are we? Because I'm in the middle of doing hair.
Okay, yeah. If you can't read, it's fine. I'm just trying to. I need people to you know to participate. So all right, let's get Sister Courtney. Sister Courtney, you there for me, sister? All right, Sister Rena, you there, beloved?
Yeah, where did we leave off at?
All right, thank you, sister. Right here where it says incest, the family tradition. That's where we're starting at.
All right. Well, hold on. All right. So incest, the family tradition. Royals have a history of marrying their cousins. Historically, it was a way of keeping the bloodline strong and avoiding breeding with commoners. While often these were distant cousins, many times it was a first cousin. The Catholic Church stated marriage between first cousins was unacceptable, but this doctrine was amended in 1440 in England by their parliament. It should come as no surprise that it was a king who made this amendment, Harry King the, I don't even know what number is that? Harry King the what is that, the 7th?
The eighth.
Harry King the 8th, who was very fond of getting married, made the decree that allowed marriages between cousins to be legal. With the backing of Henry, future British royals really made the most of the new law. Queen Victoria married her first cousin, Prince Albert, and to make this a truly bizarre union, they were studied by their mutual uncle Leopold.
Okay, so right there, hold on one moment, Sister Rita. So now I want y'all to understand that Queen Victoria, she married her first cousin, Prince Albert, and to make this a truly bizarre union, they were set up by their mutual uncle Leopold. Okay, now if y'all don't know the history of Leopold the one birthed Leopold the second, right? And Leopold the second was the ones who actually went out to enslave and colonize and brutalize and decapitate the Colonese people, the Congolese people in Congo. Okay, this is these sick devils we're talking about here. All right, so I just wanted to point that out to you, that who's this talking about? The father of Leopold II. All right, that's where this is referring to. And this man set up here and put Queen Victoria to marry her first cousin, Prince Albert. All right, in an incest union. All right, so it just shows you the nature of these people. All right, go ahead, Sister Rena.
At least it keeps the cost of the wedding down when you only need to invite one side of the family. Initially, the marriage was considered controversial, but not for the reason you may think. There was no objection to first cousins marrying, but the concern was Victoria was born a royal princess, Her Royal Highness, while Albert was the son of the Duke of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, one of a myriad of minuscule German principalities, His Serene Highness. It says something about the way of royal thinking that there was more worry over the word serene than it was over cousin. The family loving gene was passed down from Queen Victoria to her great grandchildren. Queen Elizabeth II is the great granddaughter of King Edward V. Queen Victoria's son, Prince Philip, is the son of Princess Alice, Queen Victoria's daughter. This makes Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip third cousins. Wow. One loving family. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, Victoria and Albert's happy marriage helped to assure the continuation of the monarchy. Over their 20-year marriage, they had 9 children. When Albert died, Victoria mourned for the next 40 years. I presume there was no other relatives on hand to consider for a second marriage. But while their marriage was happy, there was a side effect of the intermarriage. Victoria was a carrier of the hemophilia gene and passed it on to most of her children. Her children kept up the family tradition of marrying each other, and so many of the royal families across Europe ended up with the disease. One of her children and 5 of her grandchildren died, brought on by complications from hemophilia.
All right, now stop right there. See, now we're going to get the scripture. See, because I want to read that again. It says her children kept up the family tradition of marrying each other, and so many of the royal families across Europe ended up with the disease. And one of her children and 5 of her grandchildren died, brought on by complications from hemophilia. So let's get Deuteronomy 32 and 39. Pull this up real quick. See, because what people got to understand, see, this is the Most High in the mix right here. This is the Most High in the mix right here. All right. So Deuteronomy 32 and 39. Go ahead, Sister Rena.
All right. So Devarim 32:39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no Elohim with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Absolutely. So this is why I pulled this scripture to show you that the Most High is the one that kills, and He's the one that makes alive. Okay, and He's the one who wounds, and He's the one who heals. So clearly you see with this incest practice, which is an abomination to the Most High put them to death. The grandchildren, the Most High put them to death because of the wicked madness, the abominable practices that they was doing. All right. So now let's get the book of Leviticus. The book of Leviticus, chapter 18. The book of Leviticus 18, verse 7. And then we're going to read all the way down to verse 16. All right, Sister Rena, if you don't mind. Hello, Sister Rena, you still there? Brother Ozzy.
Hello, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Pick this scripture up for us.
Okay. Right. Leviticus 18:7 to 18. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. 8. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. 9. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even the nakedness thou shalt not uncover. 10. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. 11. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. 12. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister, she is thy father's near kinswoman. 13. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. 14. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother, thou shalt not approach to his wife, she is thine aunt. 15. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law, she is thy son's wife. thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. 16. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. 17. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is wickedness. 18. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, besides the other in her lifetime.
All right, so now we're going to get another witness to this. So Leviticus chapter 20. All right, now what we're going to show here is basically to give the brothers and sisters an understanding on what it means when it says to uncover thy nakedness. All right, because some people read that and they just think that, oh, it's talking about you being naked. No, that's not what that's referring to. This is talking about you sleeping with your mother or your father or your cousin or your sister, okay? That's what that's referring to. So let's get Leviticus chapter 20, verse 11. Go ahead, my beloved brother.
Okay, should I read up?
Yep, verse 11. Yes, sir.
Verse 11, okay? And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
So that's key
12.
right there. That's key. It says the man that lieth, meaning to lay with his father's wife, have uncovered his father's nakedness. So when it says that, that's what that's referring to. It's saying that you ain't supposed to be laying with your kindred. You ain't supposed to be having sex with your people. Okay? That's what that's referring to. And then what you see and you read here, it says, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So when we go back here, right? What we just read, we go back here. What happened to the grandchildren and her children? Hold on, mute that. It says, but while their marriage was happy, there was a side effect on the intermarriage. Victoria was a carrier of hemophilia gene and passed it on to the most of her children. Her children kept up the family tradition of marrying each other, and so many of the royal families across Europe ended up with the disease. And one of her grandchildren and five of her grandchildren died, brought on by the complications from hemophilia. So clear as day, you see that blood was brought upon them behind this wicked, incestuous act. So continue on, brother. Verse 12. We're going to read down to verse 21.
Okay. 12. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion, their blood shall be upon them. 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
All right, so that's 14. Cool. That's cool right there. So the reason why we're going over this is just basically to show you what it means when it says that to uncover, you shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father, your mother's sister, your mother's brother, your mother's this. Uncovered, where it shows you here, it's referring to laying down with them, having sex with them, bringing forth children through them. All right, it is a wicked act according to the Most High, and blood shall befall you and blood shall be on your hands. All right, appreciate that, brother. So now we're going to go into the article concerning the Stilling Africa. All right, how Britain looted the continent's arts. All right, as you also see on the flyer, what we refer to is that these wicked people, the wicked royal family, have stolen majority of the artifacts and everything from Africa. And now they reside within their museum and they walking around wearing them, and they got their old dusty asses sitting on the gold and stuff. All right. So here we gonna go in here and read this just to give brothers and sisters a more understanding on what's going on about these people. These are some wicked people. Do not call these people royal or nothing. They shall reap what they sow with the atrocities that they have done by continuing to practice wickedness, man. Straight up. So Stealing Africa, how Britain looted the continent's arts. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay.
And by the way, my beloved brother Ozzy, he is the president of the United Kingdom division. So he's amongst these people. Okay. So, and he knows a lot of history about these dang people.
That's
all
true.
right. So I just want y'all to know, you know, this brother that's reading, he's the local president of the United Kingdom division. My beloved brother Ozzy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Okay, it reads, Stealing Africa, how Britain looted the continent's art. During war and colonization, Western nations participated in the theft of thousands of pieces of African art. This is the story of the role Britain's anti-slavery mission played in looting African artifacts and of the campaign to get them returned.
So just an image here just shows basically the artifacts that they have stolen and then they have placed in their museums to make money off of the artifacts and everything. When people come in these museums, a lot of times these people may have to pay and etc. just to look and see what's going on and see what they have. And now they sit up here and rape, rob, and murdered and stole everything. Then they put it in their museums as praise and to show people, look, this is our history of our wicked ancestors. And now we want to show y'all what we have and what we have stolen. This ain't nothing but the dang on devil. Only the devil do stuff like this. All right. It says visitors sit before the contentious Benin plaques. Oh, I'm gonna let you read that, brother, because my beloved brother Ozzy, he comes from the Benin. He comes from Benin. So go ahead, brother. Do your thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Visitors sit before the contentious Benin plaque exhibit, more commonly known as the Benin Bronzes, at the British Museum in London, UK. Chapter 1, capture begins. Nowadays, the sleepy town of Chibok in northern Nigeria is notorious for kidnappings of 276 children by Boko Haram. But go back 115 years, and this tiny farming community perched atop a hill fought one of the greatest resistance to British colonization. In November 1906, around 170 British soldiers launched what the country's parliament called a punitive expedition against the town for carrying out annual raids along British trade routes in Borno State. In defense, during an 11-day siege, Chibok townsmen shot poison arrows at the soldiers from hideouts in the hills. The fiercely independent small Chibok tribe of savages, as they were described in the report presented to Britain's Parliament in December 1907.
Look at that, called us savages.
Yes.
Called the small Chibok tribe of savages. When clearly the true damn savages is them.
Yes.
You got the mindset to bring y'all asses over here and to steal something, to rape, rob, and murder, and then have the nerve to turn around and call somebody else savages? How you gonna call them savages and you on their territory trying to take over their territory?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, this is the deranged mindset that these people have. Reverse psychology. Go ahead, brother.
Very true. Thank you. Thank you, brother. The fiercely independent small Chibok tribe of savages, as they were described in a report presented to Britain's Parliament in December 1907, had been the most determined lot of fighters ever encountered in what is now modern-day Nigeria. It took British forces another 3 months to annex Chibok. And only after they discovered their natural water source and starved them out, the report said. The arrows and spears the Chibok townsmen had used against the British were then collected and sent to London, where they are held in storage today. But curators label available online about the background of the items at the British museums, which holds around 73,000 African objects.
Boy, the biggest thieves on the earth.
Yes.
The biggest thieves on the dang on earth. How do you got over 73,000 African objects in a museum? And then you run around here locking us up? Talking about if you steal over $400, that's a felony. That's penitentiary time. While they didn't run around here and stole over 73,000 African objects. And that's only over on that side, amongst the Benin tribes. That's not the number for the entire continent of Alkebulan or Africa. But pay attention to this. These people, bro, this is the biggest mafia, the biggest gang, the biggest devils on the face of the earth. Continue, brother.
Thank you, brother. Which holds around 73,000 African objects. Make no mention of how the spears got there, nor of the town's resistance against punitive colonization. Shrouded in a storeroom, those arrow points to a wider conflict unfolding about artifacts looted from Africa during wars and colonization, and held in Western museums.
Go ahead now.
While many Western curators defend their collection as universal, representing the art of the world regardless of how they were acquired, critics suggest they have not done enough to accurately present the complex histories of the objects that were taken. You see a picture labeled underneath is the interior of the Benin King's compound burned during the siege of Benin City in 1897 with bronze plaques in the foreground.
See, and let me explain something. What a lot of people don't understand, man, you know, the European power and these people really didn't become organized until the slave trade. They didn't become organized until the slave trade. And when I say organized, I'm talking about how you see them now. They didn't become organized until the slave trade. This is the reason why they wandering around murdering our people, stealing from our libraries and so much more. They're trying to find out the information that we carry. They're trying to learn knowledge and history because they didn't have none of this stuff. The nature of these people was homosexuality, incest, lawlessness, murder, cannibalism, having sex with animals, bestiality. They didn't have nothing organized whatsoever. That's why they had to come amongst the indigenous Aboriginal man and woman's territories and land and continent to steal the things that they have seen so they can learn how to become an organized nation of people. Didn't even know how to wash their ass. Didn't know how to clean themselves. But then they turn around and call us savages. Then they turn around and say, there's no way that we can be this intelligent. Look, you can have your organized religion. Just give us our nature back. You can have your organized white religion. Just give us our nature back. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Historian Max Soylan, recounts Chibuk's capture in his book. His book is called What Britain Did to Nigeria, which examines the legacy of Nigeria's violent colonization in its rapidly expanding modern crisis.
Now stop right there, because we just read something that's very, very important, and I want somebody to write this down and send it in the chat. So this will be a very important book to purchase. It says historian Max Solion recounts Chibok's capture in his book, What Britain Did to Nigeria. Put that down. Put Max Solion, What Britain Did to Nigeria. That's the name of the book. All right. Put that down. Whenever if you have funding after the Shabbat, after the Sabbath, go ahead. If you got the funding, you should purchase this book after the Shabbat or whenever you can. But this is a book that needs to be bought and brought to the forefront so we can study. All right. So it says, which examines the legacy of Nigeria's violent colonization and its rapidly expanding modern crisis. Go ahead, brother. Please, somebody post that. If they haven't already, please post
it. Okay. He believes historical narratives, largely written by Europeans, were deeply flawed, neglecting a much more interesting and deeper history. It is very dangerous to rely on the victor's account as the sole account of history, he says. There is a proverb about this. The tale of the hunt will always be told by the hunter's tale, until the lion learns how to tell its story.
Until the Lion of Judah learns how to tell its story. Yes, sir. The tale of the hunt will always be the hunter's tale until the lion learns how to tell its story. Because that's what they do. They're quick to tell their history, but always understand that you got the Jewish people in control of the media. You got the Jewish people, a majority of the time, they're the ones in charge and behind a lot of the historical articles and et cetera, et cetera. Not saying all white resources isn't accurate, but you can tell, especially if you have the spirit of discernment and if you know history, you will know what is right and what is wrong and what is deception and what is true. So y'all got to be very careful and always understand that only depending on the history of your oppressors, that is not wise. Because a lot of times, they're not going to tell you all of the truth. They're going to try to hide it and cover it up. That's why a lot of history and things have been hidden from history. Because a lot of times it's in their hands and in their power. So they try to hide certain things. Go ahead, brother. Museums were different. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. Definitely. Museums were definitely devices that helped to shape colonialism and stories of conquests and the legitimizing of the conquest, says Aisha Osori, director of the Open Society Initiative for West Africa, Oshiwa, headquartered in Senegal. She is co-leading a 4-year, $15 million initiative by the Open Society to help nations get back their cultural treasures held abroad. She says, if we use the Benin Kingdom in Nigeria, the Dahomey Kingdom in Benin Republic, and the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana, a lot of violence was how these things were taken, she says. Six decades on from independence, African governments are actively seeking the return of stolen artifacts. Historically, European authorities refute claims for return on the basis that they could not determine who the original owners were. Other excuses, according to Abba Isa Tijani, the Director General of Nigeria's National Commission for Museums and Monuments, included concerns that returned artifacts would not be properly managed. So Nigerians formed an independent body in 2020, the Legacy Restoration Trust, to act as an intermediary and manage negotiations with foreign museums. Tijani believes it was the best step forward and is designed to survive changes in Nigerian politics. Nigeria has since been proactively clinching agreements for returns with institutions in the United States, Germany, Ireland, and Britain, including the University of Aberdeen, the Church of England, the Fowler's Museum in Los Angeles, the National Museum of Ireland, and the Berlin Ethnologistische Museum.
So there you go. Another picture of, and then notice when we read, they said we don't know who it belongs to. Did they just say that, brother Ozzy? Or am I tripping?
They did, brother. They did. They know exactly who it belongs to. They know exactly who it belongs to.
Come on, brother. Who face? Come on, brother. Look at this face. Brother Ozzy, does this derive from your tribe?
It belongs to the Oba of Benin, Oba Tope. He said. It belongs to the Oba of Benin. It belongs to the Edo people. It belongs to the Benin descendants as well, too. It belongs to the Benin Empire.
There you go. But these lying devils sit up here and say they didn't know who it belonged to. But clearly, even while it's inside, it says the Benin Ivory. The Benin Ivory president mask. Or yeah, the Benin Ivory mask. Come on, man. But you don't know who it belongs to? Man, these people, boy, I tell you.
Very true, very true. They look down on us, you see. They look down on us.
Absolutely. I got some stuff to show you. We ain't done yet. Hey, if you a brother and sister that want to learn and receive knowledge of self and just knowledge of historical, of knowledge of Aboriginal, Indigenous knowledge and wisdom, you better stay here because we got some fire today. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you, brother. As we spoke, Tijani was in the middle of finalizing the return of 3 Nigerian artifacts from the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Announced in June, 2 16th century Benin bronzes, plaques, and a 14th century Ife head. He hoped that more museums with similarly stolen Nigerian objects would consider returning them. But negotiations with the British museums have often reached an impasse. Britain's government recently adopted a retain and explain stance for state-owned institutions, meaning that monuments and contested objects will be kept but contextualized. European state-owned institutions require new laws to be able to return their collections. This has been enacted in France and Germany, but British institutions are still prevented from doing so by the British Museum Act of 1963 and the National Heritage Act of 1983. The UK government has said it has no plans to amend those laws to enable return.
Go ahead.
The Benin Dialogue Group, a network of Nigerian representatives and European museums, including the British Museum, have been engaged in decades-long discussions about loan returns with few tangible timelines. It says, we thought that this is the group that will enable the United Kingdom to succumb to the issue of reparation, says Tijani. But this process is not very clear.
Okay, so we're gonna finish up right here, brother, and then we're gonna come back to this because we got a few series that we're gonna do on this stuff. Okay. We got Ethiopia too. Yeah, just finish up this rest right here.
Okay, I will do. He says Nigeria will not relent and hopes to talk more about the British Museum and then come up with a very concise, concrete, timely reparation of our objects. The British Museum told Al Jazeera it was engaged in a series of dialogues with different parties in Benin, especially the Legacy Restoration Trust, and is aware of widespread hopes of future cooperation. It would not offer any clarification on a date for loan returns.
All right. So now what I'm gonna go here to is I'm gonna just go to a video on behalf the so-called royal family, slavery, colonialism, and race. You know, just showing a little bit more history on this topic. Because like I say, we're gonna go into a whole lot more than this. Like next week, there's gonna be a lot of history being brought forth. So brothers and sisters can learn more about the slave trade, you know, who suffered from it and so much more. All right, but this right here as well, just to show you, we was just reading about Benin and Nigeria. Now check this out. It says UK urged to return sacred altar tablets and treasures stolen from Ethiopia 150 years ago. Does that say Nigeria, brother?
No, brother, it says Ethiopia.
Ooh-wee. 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 Boy, it's about to be heated. We got some fire coming. All right. So we're gonna watch this video as of now, and then we'll continue after this. This is a 12-minute video. I ain't gonna watch the 54 or the hour video because it's 3 o'clock. But we're gonna watch this video real quick.
Field tours are a key part of the job for members of the royal family. They can be full of energy, flag waving and photo opportunities. In recent times though, there have been some awkward moments. And for some, they have been a reminder of the monarchy's difficult imperial past.
Slavery was abhorrent, and it should never have happened.
As of June 2022, the British Crown was still legally head of state in these 15 countries, all former British colonies or protectorates. But increasingly, there have been calls for the British monarch to be removed as head of state.
Ladies and gentlemen, their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, have arrived. Please stand.
They shouldn't be welcomed as leaders of the country, as representatives of the head of state. How these two young white people now going to be here saying we are going to kowtow to them and we are going to bend and bow and kneel to them. Those days are done. The monarchy is a relic.
In the Caribbean, some people want the royal family to provide reparations for their role in slavery. So what exactly are the monarchy's links to the slave trade?
This is the map of America, and if you live in one of the 20 states revealed at the end of this video, you can.
The royal family's links to slavery began during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. The crown and the royal family was deeply involved in the slave trade and making money off the slave trade. Charles II granted a charter to the Royal Adventurers originally, and they were then reconstituted as the Royal African Company to deal directly in enslaved Africans and to sell them in the New World, but primarily to the colonies in the Caribbean and mainland North America.
This was one of the greatest atrocities in human history. And those who suffered in this atrocity are persons from the region, a lot of persons from the Caribbean region. And that suffering was not only immense, it was generational. And a lot of wealth was derived from the suffering, a lot of benefits was derived from the suffering.
The brands that were used on the bodies of enslaved people featured the name of monarchs. So for example, the Duke of York, one of the brands that was used by the Royal African Company was the letters DY, and this was actually instructed to be put onto the bodies of enslaved people. So they are making it very clear that the royal family is involved, that the royal family supports the slave trade, and that actually because the royal family supports it, this is a good investment. This is a safe investment. This was seen as the way to build an empire, but also as a way to convert Africans to Christianity. That was the primary argument that was made at the time. So the crown saw itself as a civilizing, Christianizing force. That yes, they were profiting, and yes, they were supplying laborers to the colonies, but they also saw themselves as on the right side because they were expanding and civilizing the world.
The wise African chiefs have seen the tremendous changes in Nairobi to which the princess herself referred in her speech.
The contrast we see today is a striking tribute to the men and women of all races who have made it a great center of commerce and finance, the crossroads of East Africa, the capital of your colony, and the seat of the East Africa High Commission.
So of course that family has benefited from enslavement, and so has many institutions in this country, whether it's the railways, the roads, the banks, HSBC, Barclays, and the enslavers were compensated when slavery was ended, and the compensation didn't stop getting paid until 2015. So people like me were paying actually for compensation for the enslavers, but the people who were enslaved were never compensated. We never even got an apology.
By the 1790s, there is a growing groundswell of support for abolition in Britain. But the royal family is deeply opposed to the abolition of the slave trade. George III did not come out publicly and say that he was against the slave trade, but he made it very clear to his ministers that he would not support abolition as a cabinet measure. So this was something that the public knew, that the royal family was against abolition, that the royal family believed that the slave trade was crucial to maintaining Britain's wealth and power and its imperial interests.
Repairing that damage is something that both Prince Charles and Prince William have tried to do in recent years, with some of the strongest words yet from members of the royal family when it comes to links to slavery, and some have seen it as a real shift in attitudes.
From the darkest days of our past and the appalling atrocity of slavery, which forever stains our history,
I want to express my profound sorrow. Slavery was abhorrent, and it should never have happened.
Expressing sorrow, but not saying sorry. And there's been so much discussion in Jamaica, where they've just come from, about an apology for slavery. How are you feeling about that debate here?
Slavery? Well, we're now independent. We now been given freedom. Okay, so slavery to me, it's been abolished. So why go back in time, and move forward?
That it wasn't him. It was back on.
Forgive it. That was history. That was the past. We're moving forward right now.
Yes.
All is making the Bahamas a better place.
Yes.
And that's the best thing we can do.
Yes, that's what we
Yeah.
Not that we are prepared to forget. Yes. We'll never forget. And we will always remember our history. We will always teach it. But it actually helps us to appreciate where we're going and to know where we are going.
In Canada, the anger that's been directed at the royal family has all been to do with the treatment of Indigenous people while the country was still part of the British Empire.
Stop right now and let me ask you this. How is it possible that Elon Musk can manage over 100,000 employees when some business...
In 2021, statues of both Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth II were toppled on Canada Day. It followed the shocking discovery of unmarked graves at school sites, where Indigenous children had been forcibly taken from their families during the reign of Queen Victoria.
My parents, my grandparents, my aunt, uncles, and a bunch of them, they all went to residential schools.
It's still scarred, the community.
They're still scarred, so it happened to our parents and grandparents, but it's still affecting us.
Indigenous communities in Australia and New Zealand have also taken issue with the royal family.
Always will be Aboriginal land!
Indigenous Australians say that Britain never acknowledged that Australia was owned by Aboriginal people before it was colonised by the British in 1788.
The colonisation of both countries included violence, it included disease and dispossession, and it certainly included massacre. There's a whole range of things that happened to Aboriginal people. A number of communities, and in fact I would suggest most, were impacted quite profoundly by having their culture either denied to them or their language denied to them.
In New Zealand, Indigenous people have protested the Treaty of Waitangi, a founding agreement between the British Crown and a number of Maori chiefs. The agreement contained protections and land rights for Maori people that were never honoured. In 1995, the Queen delivered an apology from the British Crown to New Zealand's biggest Maori tribe for the seizure of Maori lands by British colonisers.
Kia mau, kina taonga.
And in 2005, a topless protester wrote, "Get your colonial shame off my breasts," as Prince Charles toured the country. In recent times, the Crown has sought to distance itself from colonialism and racial prejudice.
May I just say that while I'm here with my husband as a member of the royal family, I want you to know that for me, I am here with you as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of color, and as your sister.
The one time someone from outside, the descendant of enslaved people, married into the royal family, she was not treated well and alleged that she had been horribly treated and ended up fleeing the royal family and is no longer an active royal.
The royal family a racist family, sir?
No, we're very much not a racist family.
The image of the monarchy in some ways is more important than anything, and by all respects they have failed, especially recently with the treatment of Meghan Markle, the royal tours, the backlash against the crown. None of it is good, and none of it bodes well for the survival of this institution, especially among the younger generations.
And the Meghan Markle case is really interesting because she's a light-skinned, mixed-race woman. She's almost white passing to a certain extent. She's much lighter than me. So she has certain privileges that dark-skinned black women probably wouldn't have. Yet she was still attacked by the mainstream media, by the social media trolls, by commentators, by people inside the royal family. So that showed a spotlight on this country that we're not as progressive as we think we are, that we still have an issue with race in this country. And I think a lot of the time we think the race issue is something that's just focused on America, which is why the uprising in 2020, I think, caught a lot of people off guard because they were like, oh, racism just happens in America, it's just George Floyd. But we never want to look at the racism that actually is taking place in this country.
The royals still have a lot of support overseas, but in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movement, there has been a shift. And we could now see countries following in the footsteps of Barbados by removing the British monarch as head of state.
There is really no support for maintaining some of these colonial ties in the 21st century. Once the Queen is gone, there are already many colonies, former colonies, leaving now while the Queen is still alive. And I think that is really the most sobering aspect of this, that Barbados has already left, Jamaica is signaling that it will leave. If these former colonies are already now trying to sever ties and become truly independent, what is to stop other members of the Commonwealth?
Is that okay for you? Like having the one family royalty where it's they're given all the wealth, all of the. That's not okay for us. So.
As a black person, I just can't relate to an institution that was been founded on colonialism, imperialism, and enslavement of my ancestors. Their imagery imagery has been used as propaganda, because they are the new faces of colonialism. They are the new faces of imperialism. They are the new faces of social hierarchy and class. And I think a lot of people are buying into that without actually analysing what these new generations of royal family actually represent.
They are the figurehead for the colonial process, but they are not the people that did the colonialism. I belong to the Indigenous community, and many people that I know are very supportive of the monarchy, and many would prefer that we were a republic. We shouldn't really anticipate that there would be a homogenous Aboriginal view of any event, and particularly something as important as, say, becoming a republic.
A republic.
You think it's time to become a republic?
I think it's time to become a republic, right? So just let go of the slavery, let go of the queen. Just focus on set a goal and a direction.
Most definitely. So you see, and that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with this whole situation, is that, you know, after they done so much dirt and the dirt that they continue to do, you know, all of a sudden they want to offer this fake apology. And then, you know, the reason why they do it is because they know that there's many people who look like us that's going to fall in line for it. You know, many people like us, they're gonna, you know, we're gonna, oh, they apologize here, let's forgive them. And notice, they said that one of the main reasons behind you know, the colonizing and all of this stuff was because they wanted to force Christianity on the people. And notice, Christianity teaches one of that. You know, even with that slave Bible that they have brought forth, you know, when they say to slaves, obey your masters, and you know, turn the other cheek and stuff like that. These are the things that you see that's taking place right now amongst all of our beloved brothers and sisters who have suffered from the colonization of these people. And that's exactly what you see, and that's what we got to remove ourselves from mentally, man. It ain't. I mean, let me explain something to you. Just because these people apologize, that don't mean that it's time for us to hold hands with them. When these people apologize, it's time for us to continue to focus on us, so we can no longer remain as the tail, and we can eventually put ourselves back in the head position. And the only way you're able to do that is by setting yourself apart from these people. That's it. Because of the damage, the trauma that they have put us through for over 500 years. Forget all that. No, it's no time to hold hands right now. We got to focus on us as a nation of people. That's it. That's it. Your people is already in power. Why is it that whenever we want to liberate and organize and unite our people, you always want to be involved? No. We got to remove that, man. We got to remove that. We got to remove that mindset. It's no time to be holding hands right now. The focus is on our people, because one thing for sure is the crime that we commit against each other in our community. And then Black Lives Matter came out and they protest Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. But the Black Lives Matter meaning behind it was really referring to police brutality. And that's why they were saying Black Lives Matter, because of the police brutality that continued to happen throughout the year and the amount of Black people that was dying by the hands of the slave patrol. But then white people was like, if you're going to say Black Lives Matter, how can Black Lives Matter when you guys continue to kill each other in your own community? When you guys continue to hate each other, how are you going to say Black Lives Matter when you're not helping your own people in your own community? Note that the reason why we're also in these conditions within our community is because of the oppressors and the colonization and the things that have been taught to us. We've been taught to hate each other ever since slavery. Ever since slavery. And the way that this country is set up, the environment, the conditions we're living in, et cetera, this is what brings it out of us. Poverty, it brings it out of us. The reason why robberies is happening, the reason why people are stealing, the reason why gun violence is going on, the reason why self-hate is going on is because of poverty. Poverty. It's called keeping their knee on our necks. So my beloved brothers and sisters, do anybody have any questions or concerns? Please, you have the floor to speak. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Anyone have any questions or concerns on this? Because this is just part one. We're going to be going in part two as well. But if you have any questions and concerns, go ahead and speak up. Come on now. I know y'all got, I know somebody got something, especially Ozzy.
Thank you very much, brother. Yes, you're quite correct. I mean, I'm aware that we as a people need to unite a lot more. I'm aware that we need to study how to nation build and focus how to rebuild our kingdoms, our nations, our histories, our education system. You know, I ask myself, if our previous generation had the technology which we have today, would they also have educated themselves on these things that we are educating ourselves on today? And we have a lot of division, but when we look between people, between families, but when we look at the solution, even nature teaches us that no matter what divisions we have, you need the man and the woman, no matter where they come from, to be able to unite, to create the next generation. And the next generation of people must learn the truths. They must learn what you are teaching, what we are teaching. They must learn to be able to look after themselves, take back their power, and continue as civilized people. They must understand the nature of their oppressors as well too. But are we also learning as much as we can do about how to nation build, about how to become more social with each other? I think that is my question. Do we need to have a set of literature that we have available to ourselves and our people that would enable them to become more enlightened, such as learning about John Henry Clark, learning about Malcolm X, learning about everybody till today? Do we need to have a curriculum, a set of literature that we can use as a template to ensure that the oppressors don't hide these education from us, and that we can correctly educate our people with the technologies and the developing technology we have?
Very good question, brother. Very good question. Most definitely. Most definitely. And that's why I also tell, the brothers and sisters, every local president should have a copy of this. Every local president should have a copy of this. This is only part one right here. This is exclusive training manual. It's over the basics, but also we have on here the dates of remembrance. The dates of remembrance, important dates and events in the liberation struggle. Okay. And it goes over basically all of the revolts, the slave revolts and the history of it. And they have the dates in here and so much more. So that's why, it's very important to get you a copy of this so you can actually go and do your research. Straight up. Very important to get you a copy of our training manual, Line of Judah Armed Forces Training Manual, with many historical events in here. But we must crawl before we walk and learn the history of many of the revolutionaries that was before us. Okay, so therefore that you can become powerful and within your division as a local chairman. Okay, and we also got to make sure that we're putting in the work in the community. All right, how can we expand the study to spread knowledge of self if we are not putting in the work in our community? If we are not putting in the work in our community, we're not going to be able to liberate our people because we're not being seen or we're not in the community. So first and foremost, it is key to make sure that you are in the community recruiting, you are liberating your brothers and sisters, you are being a voice in the community, and so much more. So therefore, more people would join and be a part of what's going on. And the more people that would join and be a part of what's going on, then you can move forward with giving them the knowledge of self, which is by teaching them the ancient chronicles of our ancient ancestors and so much more. So we must put in the work first, but make sure that you get you a training manual of your division, because you're going to need this for all of the new recruits and people that come in. You're going to need this because it has our mission statement in here. It have the rules and regulations, the code of conduct, the chain of command. It has everything in here, the basics that you study to the point of other brothers and sisters that join, then they themselves also can make sure they get copies themselves for themselves. You understand? So just, we got to crawl before we walk while we're out here. So that is the key. Make sure you get yourself a training manual, because the rules and regulations and the code of conduct is what's going to keep you afloat and keep you stable. Stability is everything. And the rules and regulations is what's going to keep lawlessness from being a part or joining the line of Judo Armed Forces in your division. So wonderful question, brother. Yes, this is part one. Part two, we got, we're going to have more history. We're going to have a whole lot of history, just history books that's coming and stemming from us. And it may have other resources that we may get the information from, and we will make sure that we give them credit, even if we use it. Okay. But yeah, most definitely, that's something that we are building, is our own historical artifacts and information. Okay. Information, period. So please, brothers and sisters, if you have a local division, make sure you get yourself a copy. All right. I see Sister Courtney, she had her hand raised. Go ahead, Sister Courtney.
My father wanted to speak.
Shalom, shalom, brother. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, my beloved brother. Peace and blessings.
Right. One thing I want to, one thing that's puzzling me, I grew up in the early 50s in Chicago and housing project. 60s, I'm knocking down 70 right now. And I just watched how the mindset deteriorated between that little short period of life that I've had on this planet. When I was coming along, it seems like we had more of a togetherness, it was more of a, we had more of the same ideology. We had more of a, we were trying to progress our race. But now it's a different mindset. What do you think caused that to deteriorate to the point that we're just randomly just murdering each other and don't have the same unity and love that we had in these periods of time? Even in my mother's generation and before that, there was still a togetherness. What do you think caused this deterioration in our race that bring us to the point that we are now, that we just murdering each other and we just left everything behind that we were taught? What do you think caused that, Father? I mean, my man.
I believe, wonderful question, brother. I believe what caused us to deteriorate and cause all of this self-hate is the fact that we no longer have a relationship with our higher power. We have turned away from the rules and regulations, the Constitution, the divine Constitution that the Father have left to instruct us and guide us while we are here on earth. When you look around today, you will see more lawlessness and more young children and more people amongst us today that don't have a relationship with our Creator. People is just running around here in the flesh and off of the carnal mindsets. And they're running around here thinking that they can do what they want to do, failing to realize that they reside in captivity. The only thing that's going to bring us out of this is us turning back to the divine order of our Creator, the instructions of our Creator. And I ain't talking about the white man's madness. I'm talking about our nature of self in loving each other as brothers and sisters, learning to respect each other as brothers and sisters, learning boundaries as brothers and sisters, uplifting each other as brothers and sisters, removing the crab in the barrel mindset as brothers and sisters. When you see a brother down, when you see a sister down, you help them up. And that same brother and sister, if they ever seen a brother and sister down, they return that same love. That is where we need to get back to. So that is where we have lost ourselves at, as a nation of people. As a nation of people. You can hear in the music, the rap music, the songs where we don't even respect each other as brothers and sisters no more. The rap music and songs, they don't have no respect for another man's wife. They talking about sleeping with another man's wife. They talking about blowing each other's head off. But at the same time, we must always remember a lot of these practices we have learned from the colonizers. A lot of these practices we have learned from the oppressors. So we must teach our beloved brothers and sisters and our children to remove themselves and set themselves apart from the wickedness of their oppressors by unlearning the deception and the lies and rebirthing the mind of ourselves by gaining knowledge of self.
Hallelujah.
And that's key. That's key. So that's why I say, if we can have 50 brothers and sisters, or if we can have 10 brothers and sisters that is strong in every part and state and city throughout the United Snakes of America, that's out here doing the work in their community, liberating and educating the minds and the youth of our community and brothers, we are a powerful force. We will be a force to be reckoned with. And that's why I always say we need more players. Stop being a watcher and a wanderer and become a player by going out into your community and making things happen.
Hallelujah.
This is where we fell in from. We do not have enough leaders. We do not have enough mentors. We don't have enough of them within our communities. And this is exactly why we created this and what this is for. So we can build more leaders. That's why it's very important to come to these classes. That's why it's very important to come to these meetings. That's why it's very important when you come, you take notes. So you can continue to grow in the knowledge and you can sharpen your sword. So therefore, when the opportunity is given to you to teach, or the opportunity is given to you to spread knowledge and wisdom amongst others, you have the wisdom already because you've been coming to classes, you've been studying, you're educated. That's key. So brothers and sisters, I say again, be the player. If you are a local chairman of the Line of Judah Armed Forces in your division, in your state, your city, and you have a uniform, put something together, whether it's a community giveaway, start somewhere. If you need any advice or guidance, call me, contact me. Y'all know I'm here. So we can get the ball rolling because our people are suffering, man. Our people need help. So brother,
Hallelujah.
that's where we have the fall. That's where we have fallen from, brother, is the fact that we no longer have a relationship with our Creator.
Thank you for elaborating, brother. I'm Brother Yahuda Benezrael. And I
Most
thank
definitely,
you,
brother.
All right.
Most definitely, brother. Thank you, brother. I think I seen somebody else. Somebody else that had Rooster Red said the music is a big one. Thank you, Sister Courtney. We greet your father as well. Wonderful brother, man. He understands exactly what it is and what's going on. So yeah, any other questions or concerns before we actually get out here? But I'm gonna share this screen again too because I want to show y'all. It's 3:32. Let me show y'all this real quick. Right here. All right, so this right here is the carriage. Right, this is one of the carriages of the Britain people. And my beloved brother Daniel Yasharel, he sent me this. And I just want to show you this to show you how these people think about you. I don't care how nice they try to play or how nice they act. I want to show you what these people think about you. And this is, we're in the 2000s, 2022, man. And this is how these people think about you. And I want you to take a look at this. And I want y'all to tell me what you see on these pictures. On the carriage. This is actually on this. This is a real gold carriage. I want you to tell me what you see on this carriage. What do y'all see? Can y'all see it?
Yes, I see it. I'm shocked by it. I haven't even had the chance to look at those details before, but you see a people beaten down, subdued. You see the image as if they were more supreme than our people. You see a people who are loading or offloading goods stolen from their lands and giving them up to their oppressors. You see them sitting on the throne and people bowing down, African people bowing down to them. You see them willingly giving their children to them, giving their goods over to them. You see them enslaved.
Look at that. And then you go up here, you see the children in the background with their cameras taking pictures of the carriage and taking pictures of every single detail that they see. Brothers and sisters, that's how they look at you. They look at you as if you're the scum of the earth, as if you're 3/5 of a human being, as they already had in their constitution at one point of the time. But that's how they look at the so-called black man and black woman throughout all of the earth. They look at you as a slave, as if you're nothing. This is a new picture. And we're going to go into more detail on this part next week. We're going to go into more on about a part of, we got a few series on this stuff for sure. So any other questions, concerns before we get out of here, brothers and sisters? Khazar's sister, when I told my mom, okay, we got a few comments here. I like that. That's what's up. I love the comments. We got to start communicating more. Khazar's own the media and push. Okay, Sister Rena, you can't, I'm thinking you can't talk right now. Normally you would speak. Michelle, when I told my mom that Queen Elizabeth was an evil person, she became angry at me and said she was a sweet lady who loves everyone, not just her own kind. Yeah, hey. We'll speak on that. We're gonna go over a lot of that stuff next week concerning Stockholm syndrome. Okay, we're gonna go into all that next week. But other than that, we're gonna exit up out of here. Sister Rena, are you able to speak and end us out with a prayer?
I just got a lot of noise in the background.
Okay, it's cool. It's cool.
The yellow demon. I'm so lucky.
It's all good, beloved. But
I'm not quiet at home.
We're gonna just end it out with this then. All right, so guess we got a technical difficulty with that one.
Okay. So Hebrew Palau.
Yes, please. Thank you, sister.
All right. So once again, this is the Father's Palau. We're gonna close out. Abinu Shaba Shamayim Eat Shamka U Ibarach Makuka Rashunka Yaha Yashuyi Ba Shamayim Uba Haratz U At Ain Lakmanu. Hold on just a second. Jalaki. Khatmadit Ka Ashar Ad Nachnu Mukalim U Al Tabi Anu Lahadai Nasa Hayun U Sham Ranu Malka Ra Amana. In English, it translates to Our Father in heaven, may your name be set apart. May your kingdom be blessed. Your will be done in heaven and on the earth, and give us our bread continually, and forgive us of our sins, and do not bring us into the hands of tests, and protect us from all evil. Amana.
Amani, Amani. Thank you, my beloved sister, always, Sister Rena. And peace and blessings to all of my beloved brothers and sisters. And thank you for all of the work that y'all have been putting in and continue to keep putting in work. And remember to recruit, man, recruit.
Scholarships. Me and them could never be the same, cause they hating on the chosen like a straight up lame. I thought that you was riding with the mission till you switch your position, that's why my eyes open vision. I know they want the truth, it's time to vibe with the chemists. Do this daily for the youth as I provide all the finish. They try to find a conquer, but I shine like a prism. If you work for their agenda, you gon' die in the trenches. That's how you, when them haters start to hate on you. That's how you, when them haters stop away from you. That's how you, when they speaking evil love you. The book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 22. That's how you, when them haters start to hate on you. That's how you, when them haters stop away from you. That's how you, when they speaking evil love you. The book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 22.
It's real. It's real. Yeah. Give a prayer for our children, our sons and our daughters. Please, y'all. Please, y'all.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our young man that's lost on the block, being harassed by the cops.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our women who who's facing the struggle, making money the fast way.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our mothers and fathers who had to bury their child at a young age.
Be our guardian angel.
I was born in this prison planet, started crying when I landed in my mother's arms, the first to see her baby born. I barely can see, just a newborn with no memories. A fresh start, sin free, perfect can be. Let's fast forward to high school when I noticed the bad news. Brothers, they kill each other over colors and flags too. Women, they hate each other, fighting over the same dude. Rest in power to Malia Davis, who they found decapitated on the side of the road. She was only 4 years old. Can't trust your mother, she was too young to go. Give a prayer for our children, our sons and our daughters. Please, y'all, please, y'all.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our young man that's lost on the block, being harassed by the cops.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our women who's facing the struggle, making money the fast way.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our mothers and fathers who had to bury their child at a young age.
Be our guardian angel.
Yeah, 2010, could've been gone with the wind. Fled from metallic spark, them bullets in for my kin. I sat right next to him untouched, while everyone else got hit. Could've sworn that Lexus was a ladies' man, with all them hoes in that whip. I lost my mind when I lost track of time. 25 crept up on a kid, it's a blessing. To be black at my age, so unique just waits my ascension. She lost both parents, started stripping. Life flashed so fast, she got an infant. My soul cried for these moms who lost their sons to street wars, pigs, and these pensions. Cops kill us, no prisons, just pensions. 4 ones with the case for the gifted. Fuck the feds, yeah, we fed up with them. That's a mutual war between villains.
Give a prayer for our children, our sons and our daughters. Please, y'all, please, y'all.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our young man that's lost on the block, being harassed by the cops.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our women who's facing the struggle, making money the fast way.
Be our guardian angel.
Give a prayer for our mothers and fathers who had to bury their child at a young age.
Be our guardian angel. Be our guardian angel. Be our guardian angel. Be our guardian